Good day. I'm Johannes Snijders, and with me is a group of journalism students from the Tshwane University of Technology. Our guest today is Professor Raymond Durrheim, who is the 2021 NSTF South 32 Lifetime Award winner. Good day, Professor, and thank you for joining us.
Johannes, it's great to be with you. Thank you for this, and also greetings to the students, to Nonhlanhla and Palesa.
Professor, before we talk about the NSTF South 32 Award, please highlight 2 to 3 moments in your lifetime that motivated or pushed you to becoming the outstanding researcher that you are today.
Yeah. I'd say if I had to highlight just a few moments, it's been times, firstly, that I spent overseas in international laboratories, some of the best laboratories in the world. And so just after I finished my PhD, I went across and spent several months in Karlsruhe in Germany at the Geophysical Institute there, and then 6 months in California at the US Geological Survey at their Office of Earthquakes, Engineering and Volcanoes. And that was the time when I got, I suppose, to rub shoulders with some of the very best scientists in my field in the world, and really gave me a vision of what could be achieved and what world-class standards are. And since then, I've been fortunate to continue to have good interactions with world-class scientists. I spent a year in Canada, at Natural Resources Canada, spent time in Australia, in Sweden, in China, and in Japan. And it's that, I suppose, has really allowed me to benchmark what is possible. So it's really been some of those international engagements. And then another thing is also, I suppose, I first spent the first 10 years really of my research life at Wits University, and then I felt I needed to move on. And I joined the CSIR, and then I got involved in mining-related research, and particularly research related to rock bursting. And I think I really felt that I needed to do work that had a real human and social impact. I think there's certainly scope for work that's purely curiosity-driven, and I do some of that myself, but I had a need to actually do work where I could see that there was going to be an impact on human lives. And so I got involved in rock burst research, and rock bursts is a major hazard for workers in our deep and high-stressed mines. So that has been another thing. And then I think lastly, if I had to choose one thing, has been seeing people grow. And when I've been able to work with young students and see them grow from being perhaps an honors student through their masters, PhDs, to being a staff member and being a professor, and I've been fortunate to see that in my career, and that gives me a great kick, to see people from, growing in confidence, growing in ability, taking more and more initiative. And so I've had several students who've been like that, who really, I suppose, given me a great deal of satisfaction to see them develop in those ways. So I'd say those are some of the moments in my life that have really motivated me.
Professor, then with the reality of COVID-19, how does geoscience contribute to the curbing of COVID-19 infections?
Well, just in my own space, I'm geoscience isn't, you could say, directly involved, but indirectly in a big way. And that's because, as I said, I've worked in deep mines in the mining industry, and for a while I ran a program called the Deep Mine Collaborative Research Program. And our mines employ nearly 500,000 people who go daily underground, and many of them work in very cramped surroundings. Many of them have got comorbidities, perhaps TB or silicosis or perhaps HIV/AIDS. And so there was a huge concern that our mines would be a hotspot for COVID-19 infection. And what happened is that also at my university, at Wits University, we have something called the Wits Integrated Mine Health and Safety Research Group. And that brings together people from many different departments who are involved in research related to mine health and safety. So, of course, me from geoscience and rock bursts, and from mining engineering, but also from other schools like public health and epidemiology. And many of the people from the School of Public Health were invited by the mining companies and by the government and by labor unions to help them formulate the guidelines and advise them on how they should handle this pandemic. And also I found that I was invited to serve on an expert panel that the Department of Performance Monitoring and Evaluation had set up to see how well the government departments had responded, and also industry and also just civil society to the pandemic. And so I was on the panel for the economic sectors along with infrastructure, and I had responsibility for the mining sector. So I had to pull together people with experience and knowledge from universities, from industry, from government, and really write the story of how the industry responded during this. So while I didn't really have that specialist knowledge over here, my role there was to coordinate you could say the special